we will jump into Uncle Todd again. Not from the toys, but into the books. He's releasing more of the Spawn universe titles, and he's got some of the most popular titles have featured Spawn variants, and there is no variant with more history than Medieval Spawn. And I distinctly remember Medieval Spawn. The first time I saw him he was within the first 20 issues of Spawn. And also, that's a controversial character, but we can get into that some other time about that issue. But it's a great looking character. Whenever Todd has his resurgence with Spawn, Medieval Spawn certainly seems to come up. But the character originally introduced in the 1990s has had spin-off stories before, toys, and more attention directed to his way over the decades. And then I think this Nyx story, I've seen this character a couple of times. I know it played a big role into who took over the Seton Hell story that that Todd had been rolling through. I don't know if this is a big enough character to get its own book, but we'll kind of see. But she was introduced during her time missing from the books, while Sir John, which is the name of Medieval Spawn story, will dive into its earliest days of Spawn. The Black Revival book of Nyx will be available April 2nd at your local comic book stores from Image Comics. Medieval Spawn will also hit on the 23rd at your local comic book stores from this. Are you guys digging the Spawn universe, or do you think that he's kind of overkilling it with some of these characters at the moment?
Spawn's a cool character. I haven't paid attention to any of the books in I can't tell you how long. So I love the character. Great old school HBO animated series, one of the best of all time. I used to collect the figures early on in early McFarlane toy days, but no desire or interest to read anything about Spawn or in collectibles.
I never liked the character. I remember back in the day, you actually lent me the first arc of Spawn, like the first 4 or 5 issues to read. You're like, oh, you might like this. So, read these. And I read it and I'm like, I loved his Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But, when he went over to Image and did Spawn, I was just not interested. Now, if they did a movie of Medieval Spawn, that could be cool. I would watch that. But I'm not interested in him sitting in the alleyway doing the same thing as he did in that terrible 90s movie.
It's just as long as they do medieval John Leguizamo as
the Violator.
As the Violator.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see John Leguizamo ever come back in the Spawn film. What do you think, Chet?
No, I'm not a fan of Spawn.
Yeah,
it's not. Look, I appreciate it for what it is, but I mean, it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said again, if you want to order these books, make sure you check with your local comic book stores. They need your dollars more than ever. So go in and just pick up something, because there's a lot of turbulence in the comic industry. We said that a couple of weeks ago. So if you're into Spawn, Medieval Spawn, and Black Rival, you go and pick it up.